Hey everybody, welcome into the Beehive. I'm your host, TheBee at LLC, and this is where we stack precious metals like it's pollen and nectar. Our pollen is silver and our nectar is gold, preserving our wealth as honey of old, and like ancient metals, we hold our own. And today we're going to be talking about osmium. And osmium and looking into it in quantum computing. And I'm going to be reviewing a video put out by the Osmium Institute Germany themselves, and they talk a bit about it, and we are going to play that video and review a little bit as we go along. So I've got Space Miner with me here, and how we doing, Space Miner?
Doing good. Thank you for having me. Here I am. Welcome in. So there you are. Nice
There
to
I
see
am.
you.
All right, cool. So we're gonna let me get this pull up on the share screen, and we're gonna get right into it.
Cool.
So yeah, there's many possibilities with this new metal osmium, and I had mentioned on my channel a couple times that quantum computing is one thing they're looking at right now, and I didn't give you many details on it because I don't really know all the details on it. It's a little bit over my head. But what I do know is this is just one small example of many yet to come, because this is a new metal. It does have a whole host of unique intrinsic values within the metal itself that are bound to push it to great heights, or different types of use cases. So this has only been out for a couple hundred years, where most metals have been known for thousands of years. This is a new metal to be brought to the market, and it is very rare. In fact, it's the rarest element known to man in stable condition, that is. And yeah, we're gonna look at just a few of these, and this one comes from, I believe it was originally created, if you look in the top corner here, by Commodity Culture. That's Jesse Day's channel, and he's got a great channel, Commodity Culture. And also, I believe he is sponsored by Ian Everard of ARC SGO. And I also get him on my channel, and we discuss the metals and the financial market itself. So I hope you'll stay tuned for some of those live interviews. But let's go ahead and jump into this video. Let me make it a large screen here.
Everybody, welcome in real quick that just dropped in. Yox Blisters. How you guys doing? Thanks for joining us.
Here I am. Yep, good to see you. Welcome in. Blistering Barnacles, Yock Snav. Good to see you guys as always. All right, here we go with the video titled Osmium and Quantum Computing. And this is, mind you, located on the new channel put out by the Osmium Institute Germany. So this is a new channel. So if you are interested in osmium, this is somewhere else that you can get information. I don't think they have very many videos out, as I'm not used to seeing them, but I'm sure that they will have many more great videos to come here soon. So with that, let's check this one out.
This video will focus on the role osmium could play in quantum computing and the implications for the osmium market. Although quantum tech feels like science fiction, it might be much closer to mass adoption than we realize, as mega technology corporations and some of the brightest minds in academia are working together to develop quantum computers that could eventually become as commonplace as personal computers are today. Osmium also shows great promise in the field of modern medicine, currently being studied for use in anti-cancer agents, medical implants and coatings, and as a catalyst in the creation of certain pharmaceutical drugs. In the world of military technology, osmium is also starting to gain attention, and its use is being considered for durable coatings to protect.
I have lost my host. I'm going to bring him back up. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to say hello to Cloud Kicker. Welcome in. And L, great to see you as well. And let me bring Space Miner back up here. Hey, there you are. Sorry about that.
Well, that was me.
Okay. All right. We're going to get back to it then. And here we go.
In jet engines, naval equipment, hypersonic missiles, and more. So how could osmium play a key role when it comes to quantum computing? And how could it impact this already rare metal's supply-demand dynamics? Let's dive deeper to find out, starting with the basics. A platinum group noble metal discovered in the early 1800s, osmium's rarity means that only a small amount is extracted each year, and this number is starting to dwindle as ethical sources become more and more scarce in an increasingly divided world. Osmium is a truly unique precious metal, being the rarest stable element known to humanity with the greatest density of all the elements, along with possessing some truly incredible characteristics. A reflectivity unlike any other metal, an extremely low vapor pressure, and a very high melting point. The crystallized and purified version of osmium, achieved through a closely guarded secret methodology that took a small group of Swiss scientists 4 decades to master, is taking both the jewelry and tangible investment markets by storm. And recent developments point to osmium's potential importance in quantum computing, an exciting technology with implications that could totally transform our world. Quantum computing harnesses the powerful laws of quantum mechanics, superposition, entanglement, and interference to perform calculations impossible for classical computers. Instead of relying on binary bits, locked in rigid states of 0 or 1, quantum computers use something called qubits. These qubits can exist in multiple states at once, intertwine across distances, and process vast complexities in parallel, unlocking unprecedented speed and precision. Osmium, with its extraordinary density and unique quantum properties, including extreme spin-orbit coupling and strong electron correlations, could be a game changer in the realm of quantum computing. Recent breakthroughs reveal its potential for high-temperature superconductivity under pressure, opening doors to revolutionary quantum applications. In fact, osmium is already being called the silicon of the quantum age, a nod to that element's integral role in manufacturing the semiconductors and computer chips that dominate our modern computing reality. Let's explore some recent research to uncover the facts about osmium's role in quantum technology. Starting back in 1993, a pivotal study conducted by chemists at the University of London found that by bonding osmium with organic molecules, they could create luminous compounds that absorb and emit light with remarkable efficiency, their electrons dancing in excited states for microseconds, an eternity in the quantum world. These unusually long-lived photon states, achieved through osmium's unique properties, could be ideal for quantum repeaters, the backbone of a future quantum internet, a quiet breakthrough that turned the spotlight on osmium as a potential key to the quantum computing future that lies ahead. In research published in the Nature journal in 2023, scientists from the University of Tennessee, Oak Ridge National Laboratory, and the University of Louisville discovered that lithium osmium oxide, a combination of high-purity osmium oxide and lithium carbonate or lithium oxide, forms a quantum spin liquid, a rare state where electron spins remain in constant fluctuation, defying conventional magnetic order. This chaotic quantum behavior isn't a flaw, it's a feature, one that could lead to ultra-stable qubits resistant to decoherence, which is the process by which a quantum system loses its properties due to interactions with the external environment. the primary obstacle to building practical quantum computers. While osmium's platinum group metal's cousin iridium has long been a focus of quantum research, osmium's stronger spin-orbit coupling makes it a more compelling candidate for next-generation.
So notice our osmium and iridium. So iridium, that isn't iridium. Wasn't that found along when osmium? Those were both discovered at the same time. Am I right?
Yeah, for a long time they couldn't distinguish between the two, and it really took a long time just to say, hey, these are even two different elements, because they're so similar in a lot of regards, and so very different in a lot of other ways. Like it pointed out right there, it until we had the technology to even determine some of these differences, and I think it came down to chemical differences at the time, like meaning ability to be dissolved, because iridium is also like hyper inert. These are the two of your, like, between iridium and crystallized osmium, it doesn't, these guys are hyper inert substances. Right. The only difference is osmium does produce a tetroxide. It will produce a tetroxide or a dioxide. But it only in the most extreme circumstances. But the moment it does, it all of a sudden it becomes equally, if not more, inert than the iridium at that point. So each one has its purpose,
Yeah, and I'd like to point out too that they're just now looking at these things in depth like this and finding their unique differences and how those applications can be used. So there's a high ability or possibility of these being used in many different applications that we have yet to understand, that we have materials that can do such things. So,
well, they briefed. I kind of did want to comment on that, kind of like we had discussed at other points. There are people whose entire lives are dedicated to working with particular materials, and these people invest a lot of money into the research, a lot of money just into researching these things, and then into development of technologies, and then into the actual technologies, and then into the actual production of those technologies. There's a window of time that's always going to coincide with our understanding of a metal. Like, only when we understand it can we then start producing stuff from that understanding. And every time we gain a new understanding, new avenues, new explorations of development come from each one of those moments.
Yeah,
discovery process. And
right.
So that the point is that I really wanted to make is, look how many people are in on this, and they're not in on this by mistake. They didn't just throw a dart at the periodic table and say that one.
Right.
Some materials are irreplaceable in some regards.
Exactly. And that's what I ultimately want to kind of point out in showing this is, right now we're going through this video and it's kind of focusing on quantum computing and them looking at it, in the lab for these different reasons. But just like you said, once you do establish that, it works like this, or look at off gases at this point, or all of those different elements that you can't get from any other element are going to become or have the potential to become very valuable in these different applications. So even if this doesn't take, there's liable to, from all this experimentation coming and seeing the different possibilities from this rare material, in my mind, I'm not worried about finding, applications for it, because I think they will be there. So,
Right.
all right, here we go. We're going to continue a little further.
Quantum materials. Perhaps even more exciting, although more theoretical, is research from Cornell University speculating that a compound called osmium hydride, formed through a combination of pure osmium powder and hydrogen gas under immense pressure, could become a superconductor, effortlessly channeling electricity without resistance. This prediction suggests that at temperatures near minus 440 degrees Fahrenheit, colder than deep space, this ultra-dense metal might unlock perfect conductivity, thanks to quantum maneuvers only osmium can pull off. But there's a catch. Osmium hydride has never been successfully created outside of computer models, due to an array of complications that haven't yet been overcome by the scientific community. However, if this puzzle is solved, osmium hydride could achieve superconductivity for quantum circuits, the quantum equivalent of classical computer circuits, and quantum sensors, devices that exploit quantum states to measure physical quantities with unprecedented precision. Ultimately, osmium's most compelling characteristics in the field of quantum technology are strong spin-orbit coupling, electron correlations, and potential superconductivity, which addresses the two major hurdles currently faced in quantum tech: stability and precision. With that being said, we could just be scratching the surface, and universities and labs are racing to develop osmium-based quantum materials, including the Max Planck Institute, currently studying osmium's electron correlations for topological quantum computing, and Ohio State University, who are collaborating with national labs to test osmium hydride superconductivity in diamond anvil cells. The quantum osmium party is just getting started, and with so many brilliant minds converging to advance the field, the possibilities seem truly limitless. While researchers worldwide attempt to solve the challenges of using osmium in a variety of quantum applications, the greater challenge still may lie in the difficulty with sourcing purified osmium to meet this new high-tech demand. Meaningful sources of osmium are exceedingly hard to come by. In the past, South Africa was the most significant producer, having been one of the world's main sources of osmium in the 1970s. Since then, however, production from that region has fallen, and today, its output is almost irrelevant, a shadow of its former capacity. Although Russia has also been a notable producer, sanctions currently in place take it off the list of ethical sources, making the question of securing osmium supply even more precarious. At present, only 17 cubic meters of osmium are estimated to still exist in the Earth's crust, and of this,
so I want to take a minute and talk a little bit about that on acquiring the metal itself. And I was just watching on silver, and they were talking about how, over these past 5-6 years, there's, we all know there's been a deficit in silver, but also that the recovery rate in the mines themselves, the percentage of silver is going down further and further. That's partly, I'm sure everybody knows, that it's an epithermal, close to the surface metal generally. But as we're going through these commodity wars, and the fiat is losing its value, and the countries start trying to acquire these commodities becomes more important. There a lot of the mining, the big mines and the industrial boom in mining has kind of been swallowed up, and there's a lot of more mines to be coming online or had access easily to, let alone a platinum byproduct like osmium. So it could be that we know the Osmium Institute has bought up most of the larger portion of the osmium, and going forward there may not be nearly as much access as there has been of the buildup over time that's already been purchased by them. So I was just thinking about that today, like that we could have experienced. They always talk about peak oil, but peak mining, that could be definitely be a real thing in what we're looking for, especially if mines get nationalized or become problematic, and our not culture, but our
economic.
Yeah, economic. That's the word I was looking for. That was escaping me. Our economy dropping down and going through slumps, and along with other countries, I mean, we could definitely see a drop off in these things. So,
well, yeah, and I'm always considering this too through like a pretty practical and reductionary view of like, look, there's a natural occurrence. There's only so much of it. If you broke the world into all its parts and pieces and put them in little piles, this is the tiniest stable pile.
Yeah, yeah, right. That's crazy to think about. Yeah,
and at the end of the day, like there's something to be said, like when you're considering this through an investment lens, and I look at this very speculatively. I'm a speculative investor in this regard. That I am speculating on future technology. I am speculating that mines are going to live and die, that they'll exhaust resources, that it could become too expensive for a mine to continue operation. We see that every day here in the U.S.
yeah.
We're losing copper mines regularly. They're just shutting down. It costs too much.
Yeah.
Like they have no problem pulling the copper out. They can pull copper out all day, but they'll have to do it in the red.
Yeah.
A lot of these guys have just shut the doors and said, I don't know, give it to the kids. Maybe if it comes back in 20 years,
right,
it'll be worth it again, or something like that. Right. And then like you said, we've been working a long time, industrially speaking, with, I mean, these are monumental feats, some of these mining operations. We have scooped up a lot of our current resources, our easy to find resources.
Easy access, yes, exactly.
Now we're still drilling and boring and discovering on the way. And there's other reserves out there that still exist. But even then, like platinum, is not exactly easy to come by in itself.
Right.
And then when you're talking about companion metals like this, when it lives alongside of like iron and copper and nickel and things like this, when you get it living beside these, if there's not enough concentration, whoop, there it goes. It either lives in the copper, the nickel, the platinum, if there's not enough concentration. And so over and over and over again, like you were pointing out, when we do need this, what's going to be available for use?
Yeah. Yep.
So, but we're in a new age where technology goes further than it used to. So,
yeah. All right, I'm going to go a little bit further here.
A few kilograms per year can be economically extracted. Furthering this lack of supply is the fact that the majority of the above-ground osmium is held by osmium institutes for use in crystallization for the jewelry and tangible asset markets, meaning this osmium is off limits for quantum tech purposes, barring perhaps much higher prices. We are currently seeing a race in artificial intelligence, as countries and companies around the world compete to bring the most efficient and advanced products to market. Quantum computing could completely alter the AI landscape, and those involved are well aware of this fact. As osmium's use in quantum tech continues to advance, the effects on the demand side could go parabolic, putting an absolutely epic squeeze on osmium supplies. As the supply-demand price of osmium could be released this far off in the future. At this very moment, Companies and national labs are aggressively filing patents to lock down intellectual property around osmium's quantum applications, signaling its potential to disrupt industries from computing to energy. American tech giant Honeywell, whose business revolves around aerospace, industrial automation, and energy, have joined forces with Cambridge Quantum to form Quantinum, the world's largest integrated quantum computing company. Quantinum is currently working to patent osmium complexes for quantum sensors, as well as the integration of those osmium complexes with Honeywell's trapped ion quantum computers.
So see how they're talking about.
Yeah. Go ahead.
What's that? Well, I think it's interesting how they're talking about these. One idea, you can see one idea is leading into another, and another company sees that and picks it up and wants to try that over here. And Honeywell, I mean, for in security applications, like we were talking with the crystalline osmium application of being a security key in itself. So I mean, just the options there just seem to be endless in my mind on this new metal, and like we've talked about and I've said before, our history has been modeled after the Iron Age, the Bronze Age, these different metals that we've come across and got an understanding and a use case for, has actually named our history after these things. So this is another big new metal that, as we were just talking, it if we broke the Earth down into its parts and pieces, its particles, this would be the smallest pile in existence. And in that pile, what else is interesting is the amount of unique characteristics in that smallest pile, like the amount of the mosts in the characteristics that osmium holds in that small pile just pretty much brushes any of the hesitancy I have away from, are they going to find a use case for this stuff? Just in my mind, that's a ridiculous question to ask. And this is, as you see these guys pouring their money into this new metal and the applications that it might bring, here is a chance for us to invest in that metal before these applications are found and had and swallowed up by these big companies and the price that they have. So, I think there's a large opportunity if you have the right type of eye and mind for this type of market. So, welcome in, Ground Pounder. Good to have you.
Well, and that's what I was wanting to stop you about myself is, look at these guys. These guys are already competing for the technologies, but before they even exist.
Yes.
They're trying to get ahead of the technologies. Well, they're also trying to get a hold of resources. Who was it the other day just made a huge mistake? They I want to say like Apple or somebody. I don't know. I don't want to be sued for being wrong, but a very large company just wrote a very large contract for a very large production of goods that requires a very large amount of silver. Turns out they didn't have enough silver to complete their contract. So now these guys are scrambling out there in the market for the silver all of a sudden. Well, when we see these technologies, like when we start seeing these guys rushing and fighting and scrapping over alloys and compounds and production methods, for a metal, well, guys, the market's already there for it, and the moment that there's a technology ready, to actually hit a shelf where they actually need tangible, well, that's where your investment steps in. This is right here, roughly what would this be, 500 tons of platinum ore right here, just to make
right. Yeah.
That's not so.
Yep.
And so this is one of the things that you're thinking about when you're talking about speculative investments, alternative investment metals,
Yes, because and that's been the big holdup that I've heard from people in the metals world or speculators or this and that as well. I don't know that there's an established industrial market for that yet. Well, that is the whole point that I'm excited about. Is this once they find what they're looking for, what these scientists have been paid a lot of money to look deeply into, is going to find that market. And when that market is found, now suddenly they're going to swallow up with money that industry. And if you're not already in, then it doesn't matter if they find it or not, because you're not going to be able to access it at that point. The whole key point is to get into it before those applications are found, so that when the application is found, then you can ride that value up and you're already in it. You get in it while you have a chance to, while it's low, while there is no high, huge universal demand for this thing.
And guys, when you're dealing with some of these metals, just be aware that huge portions of our metals markets are natural monopolies. They're not under public control. They're 1, 2, 3 guys in the world producing something sometimes. They make the price up, and it's the other people that got to bid for it. If they want some of this very, 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 very limited product, and look, like, one more thing, I really had to, before we walk past it, they're talking about like the inability, like there's so little, like we're unable to, run technologies on them right now. But dude, right now we're already looking at thin layer depositions, like thin layer films and stuff. We're looking at depositions, thin layer films, where we only need, nano layers, layers of 10, 20 atoms, 10 to 100 atoms, deep to do a job now. So a little bit of metal could actually go a lot further when you got somebody that can use that. And when you finally get that person that says, yep, I can use it right here, there's plenty of it, but, we're a limited production company. We don't care about the price of the osmium because we just tack this on to our product. The same way Boeing does with rhenium. Same way they do with rhenium. They purchase almost all the rhenium in the world.
Yeah, 80%. Yep.
They don't care what it costs, because they're just going to put it on the price tag that's much bigger anyways. They don't care what it costs. They just need it. End of story. And this is one of those metals that already it's finding its foothold in a lot of places.
Yeah, that's it. It's a new metal that is just possibly finding its footholds in these places. It's already found several that make it quite valuable, let alone these that they're driving after now. So that's, this is a metal that has come into play over thousands of years. It's unknown. I mean, this is a once in a lifetime, if not, I don't know how many generations opportunity, right? So cool to be here. Take it easy, Blistering Barnacles. Thanks for
good seeing you.
All right, we're going to continue on a bit.
Yeah, let's do it.
Meanwhile, on the other side of the globe, Tanaka Precious Metals, a Japanese manufacturer of precious metals materials, with a focus on electronics, semiconductors, and the automotive industry, is seeking patents for osmium thin films and the stabilization of osmium hydride phases for high-pressure superconductivity applications. Tanaka has already secured a Japanese patent for osmium-based superconducting layers in 2022, a clear sign that they believe osmium's future in quantum technology is bright indeed. So what could all of this mean for the osmium market?
So there's a new contract for this product that was not there before from some of this research being done, let alone what we already have established. And so, just now rolling into that. So, man, oh man, I don't know. For me, these things hit my ear and it just like, cha-ching, so I don't know. Anyway.
Market as a whole, let's attempt to uncover the possibilities. Until now, osmium's role in both the jewelry and tangible asset investment markets has been steadily growing. As the rarest and most luminous precious metal, crystalline osmium is making massive waves in the high-end jewelry sector, as evidenced by the recent Gem Geneve 2025 event in Geneva, where the Osmium Visionary Contest was held. The contest invited the brightest minds in the jewelry design field to bring all their creativity to the table in crafting innovative osmium jewelry pieces that could redefine the future of the luxury jewelry market. Hundreds of designers took part in the contest, with results that can only be described as breathtaking. And before you think that osmium-focused jewelry is a trend that has yet to catch on, consider that prices for osmium-set watches have already reached north of 400,000 euros, with rings, necklaces, and earrings regularly demanding prices of 5 figures or more. As a tangible investment, osmium is playing an ever-increasing role in hard asset portfolios, as its built-in scarcity and proprietary certification system, in the form of the Osmium database, proves its quality and authenticity, in addition to its ownership. Incredible advantages that have drawn comparisons to Bitcoin by enterprising investors. In addition, osmium is starting to carve out a role for itself in modern medicine and is increasingly being considered for cutting-edge military technologies. Osmium complexes show great promise as an alternative to platinum-based chemotherapy treatments for cancer, due to reduced DNA damage risks. Osmium nanozymes are another recent development, potentially reshaping the landscape in targeted drug delivery and real-time disease monitoring. In the high-stakes world of advanced military technology, osmium's extraordinary wear resistance makes it a prime candidate for the most demanding applications, from precision bearings in turbine blades of advanced aircraft to thermal coatings that shield hypersonic vehicles from the blistering heat of Mach speeds. While still too rare and costly for widespread use, osmium's unique properties could potentially carve out a critical niche in the future of defense, where even the smallest advantage can tip the scales. With nuclear energy on the rise, osmium is also being studied for potential use in molten salt nuclear reactors. Osmium's exceptional pressure and corrosion resistance could make it useful as a protective coating for reactor components, and its other unique properties leave open possibilities for specialized applications in next-generation nuclear systems. As we can see, osmium already had a lot going for it before massive technology companies and scientific institutions started to take interest in the metal for the purpose of developing quantum technology. And now this additional layer could really take the market to a whole other level. How long will it be until sovereign nations start to catch on to osmium's importance in the quantum field? Could we see osmium eventually declared a critical mineral as the race to master the quantum space intensifies and geopolitical rivalries spark a competition for the future of computation power? These are certainly fascinating questions to ponder. And when we consider that 1,000 tons of platinum ore is generally required to extract only 3 grams of osmium, and the real lack of any meaningful supply of the metal currently in the Earth's crust, the possibilities for the price of osmium and its applications in our quantum future appear to be incredibly intriguing.
Indeed, like they said, just now is the scientific quantum world, laboratory world diving into these things. And like they were saying in the defense industry, you know, where the smallest edge can give you the upper hand. And
you know, we're already using them in these places, just for the record.
yeah,
all of these already. That's why they're looking at them for future uses, because we're already using them.
Yeah, and those unique, you know, values, the unique properties that it holds that you just can't get from any other metal, you know, is going to make the supply demand value ratio go crazy. just like we're seeing in rhenium, like Ian's talking about, you know, for the alloys that rhenium can produce, and you know, the alloys that osmium can produce, and these new possible quantum computing. So yeah, I think there's lots of potential value here, and I just wanted to come do a review of this very well put together, informative video on quantum computing, because I had mentioned it a few times on my channel that they're looking into quantum computing with osmium, and of course I don't know all the ins and outs of it, as I'm not a scientist, but I thought they did a good job of doing a light review of it, so I wanted to bring it up here and go over it. So I appreciate you coming on with me and chatting about it.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. He packed a lot. He packed a lot in there, and there was he did not honestly have the time to pack everything there that could be offered.
Right.
So keep that in mind too. You know, just rushed over this. These guys are in deep fields. You know, there's guys working with osmium every day. So
Yeah.
I think it was good for him to bring it to light in a comprehensive and meaningful way. You know. So.
Yep. Hey, Silvershire, welcome in. Son of Odin Seeds, welcome in. If
What
I'm
up, son of Odin?
if
Nice
I'm
to see
getting that
you.
right.
Yep.
Hey, bro, where that silver at? You get them bars done. Are you which bars are you referring to?
Who are we talking to?
Yeah, who are we talking to?
Let's see. Let's see. How far back are you?
He's right. He just mentioned it just right here at the end. I jumped up.
Bars done. Oh yeah, dude. My old gate keys with the tritium, perhaps. You know, because I was gonna make silver bars with the tritium whenever, because when I made the tritium rounds, the ones with the tritium jammed in them, you know.
Okay.
It was a bar too.
Cool.
So,
cool. All right, so
still good.
We are going to wrap this one up about the osmium, but we are going to be coming right back on with another live where we're going to dive into silver and gold and some of the statements made, like, you know, oh, when you see silver at $1,000, be careful what you wish for, because bread will be at $1,000 too. And so I wanna you know, silver taking off and running up past 80. It opened up today and jumped up past 85. I believe it got knocked back down a little bit, but now we've had our second day, $5 day. In fact, it was $5 in a few minutes. So
we were talking about it, weren't we, man?
Yep. And so we're gonna come back on and go over some of these statements being made on these types of things, and is there any relevance to them, and where are they coming from, and how much relevance is there to them. I wanted to touch base on some of those things, so stay tuned. We want to wrap this one up, but we will be back in a few minutes, so hope to see you back very soon.
One more thing,
Moss, go ahead.
For all y'all, if you guys are interested in crystallized osmium, Be here is the Colorado State Institute. Reach out for him for crystallized osmium. We got Ian Everard, and he's got Wyoming and Idaho, and I believe he reaches into Utah as well. We've got Nick Bermudez over in California. We've got Barry down in Texas, and there's a few of us throughout the states. Feel free to reach out to any of us. I'm in New Mexico and Arizona. So, guys, get in touch, ask questions, make challenges. We're open to it. We want them, and we're happy to answer anything that we can. So, and we got a lot of cool products. So, come check it out. It's worth a look into it at least.
Indeed, for sure. yep, reach out to any of us Osmium Institutes, and we will be happy to hook you up, take care of you. And yeah, stay tuned, guys. We'll be back here shortly. So catch you all on the next one. Thanks, guys.